and welcome everyone to the world of SEMStar online classes. I am Shubham Chopra, social science teacher. Student, I am back with the second part of your second chapter of history for class ninth, that is socialism in Europe and the Russian Revolution. So students, in the previous video we have discussed about that how after the French Revolution the whole of society in Europe was categorized as per their ideologies as liberals, radicals and conservatives. Then we have studied about that how the whole of Europe was going through a period of transformation, that means change, dramatic change in social, economical and political conditions of Europe, and how industrialization took all over Europe. And because of the industrialization there was a mass migration of people from villages towards cities, and they were facing problems of housing and sanitation. They were struggling regarding their working hours. Then we have studied about that how the radicals, the nationalists and the liberals, they wanted to put an end to the monarchical form of government which was existing in Europe. So we have also studied about that how the nationalists talked of revolution that would create nation where all citizens would have equal rights. So many ideas emerged during this period of transformations, and one of the most prominent ideas which got place in Europe was of socialism. So today we are going to read about socialism and how it started in Europe and how people adopted socialism, and the people who carry out this ideology and who believed in it were known as socialists. So one of the most far reaching visions of how society should be structured was socialism. By the mid 19th century in Europe, socialism was a well known body of ideas that attracted widespread attention. Now, socialists were against private property, yes, it was one of the most prominent basis, or what to say, base of the ideology of this socialism was that they were completely against private ownership, that means private holding of properties, in means holding of property by some individuals, and they saw it as the root of all social ills of all the time. Why individuals own the property that gave employment, but the property were concerned only with personal gain and not with the welfare of those who made the property productive. So the main reason why they were against this private ownership is that the private owners were only concerned with their personal gain, and they were only concerned with the profit which they are going to earn. That means they were not concerned about the workers who actually make their land or industry or factory productive. So if society as a whole rather than single individuals controlled property, more attention would be paid to collective social interests. Socialists wanted this change and campaigned for it. So socialists, they were in favor of having the complete development of the whole society. That means they want that profit should also be distributed among the workers who are working in those factories, in those industries. But what happens in private ownership is that the profit has to be taken back by the owners only, and the workers, they are only left with their menial wages. So that is why they were against this private ownership and they campaigned for it in throughout Europe. Now, socialists had different visions of the future. Some believed in the idea of cooperatives. Now, student, let me tell you about Robert Owen. He was a leading English manufacturer who sought to build a cooperative community called New Harmony in Indiana, USA. Now, this was one of the cooperatives. Now, what was this theory of cooperative, of idea of creating cooperative? Other socialists felt that cooperatives could not be built on a wide scale only through individual initiative. They demanded that government encourage cooperative. Now, what is this basic base of this cooperative? That means the idea behind creating cooperatives is that to contribute whatever you are having and to produce anything collectively. That means if small farmers they come together, they join their lands together, they work together on that particular agricultural land, and they distribute the profit of whatever they are producing as per the amount of work they are performing. Now this was the basis of this ideology of forming cooperatives, but he thought that Robert Owen thought that not only individuals could be able to perform this kind of activity. That means it needed government to be involved in it. That means government should take this initiative and encourage cooperatives. Now in France, for instance, now in France also this ideology was promoted by Louis Blanc. He also wanted the government to encourage cooperatives and replace capitalist enterprises. Now he was also in favor of forming cooperatives, and he was also against private ownership, that means the capitalist enterprises. These cooperatives were to be association of people who produced goods together and divided the profits according to the work done by the member. So this was the formula of having a cooperative. That means people should bring together whatever they are having, they should produce together, and they should divide the profits as per the work done by them. Now Karl Marx is known as the father of socialism, and Friedrich Engels added other ideas to this body of arguments. Now, Marx argued that industrial society was capitalist. Now we all know that industrialization was going around in Europe. There was a period of transformation. More and more industries were setting up throughout Europe in different nations. The Western Europe already has got advanced with the technology, and they were having industrialization running at a rapid pace. But in the Central and Eastern Europe, consisting of Russia, industrialization was starting at the start of the 19th century. So it came later to Central and the Eastern Europe. So this during this phase, the whole of Europe was going through this industrialization. So what was the theory of Karl Marx? That he he declared that industries are basically capitalist. Capitalist means these industries were supposed to be owned by certain individuals, and he was against this capitalism. Capitalists owned the capital invested in factories, and the profit of capitalists was produced by workers. So Karl Marx theory suggested that the workers, the people who are mainly responsible for generating profits, they are not given any share in profits. They are only left with the wages which they get, and the whole of the profit is to be kept by the people who are investing money in it. That means the capitalists, that means the industrialists who are opening industries. So Karl Marx was against this private ownership, against holding of property by individuals. So that is why he supported this socialism. So this was his arguments. Now the condition of workers could not improve as long as this profit was accumulated by private capitalists. So he has this theory that this profit, the profit which was supposed to be earned by the industries, it should be divided equally among the workers, but that wasn't possible in case of capitalism. So, and he thought that the condition of workers will never be able to improve in case of capitalism. One, workers had to overthrow capitalism and the rule of private property. Marx believed that to free themselves from capitalist exploitation, workers had to construct a radically socialist society where all property was socially controlled. So he wanted that all the properties, all the industries, all the agricultural land should be owned together by a society. That means there shouldn't be any private ownership. He was convinced that workers would triumph in their conflict with capitalists. A communist society was the natural society of the future. So he was very much assured that this kind of society is going to be the future of the society, that people are going to have a collective ownership of all the industries and land area. Now, Marx's purest thoughts was that capitalism would be replaced by a socialistic collective where all were equal in ownership and rewards production. So this is the basis of the ideology of socialism. Now, he believed that socialist society would free the workers from capitalism, and this would be a communist society, which is going to be the future. Now, support for socialism. Now, by the 1870s, socialist ideas spread through Europe. So, this ideology spread throughout the Europe. To coordinate their efforts, socialists formed an international body, namely the Second International. Yes, now this body was formed by all the socialists throughout the Europe, all over Europe. They formed this society, international body, which was known as the Second International. Now, workers in England and Germany began forming associations to fight for a better living and working conditions. Now, they were demanding better living conditions on the basis of socialism. They set up funds to help members in times of distress and demanded a reduction in the working hours and the right to vote. Now, this was the main problem with which the workers were going through during industrialization in Europe. That means they continuously demanded for the reduction in the working hours, because they were supposed to work around 16 to 18 hours a day in those factories, and there was no leniency from the side of the capitalist or the industrialist or the private owners. Now, in Germany, these associations worked closely with the Social Democratic Party, that is the SPD, and helped it win parliamentary seats. So, these socialists helped the Democrats in Germany, that means they supported the Democratic Party to win parliamentary seats. By 1905, socialists and trade unionists formed a Labour Party in Britain and Socialist Party in France. So now these socialists were forming parties, that means to provide themselves identities across different nations. So they started forming parties. So in Germany they supported Socialist Democratic Party, in Britain they formed a Labour Party, and in France they formed a party named Socialist Party. However, till 1914 socialists never succeeded in forming a government in Europe. So they were now contesting elections with their ideology of socialism, but till 1914 they were unable to get themselves into government, that means to get majority number of seats in any of the nations in Europe, represented by strong figures in parliamentary politics. Their ideas did shape legislation, that means their ideas got consideration in the government, but they were unable to win any of the elections in any of the nation of Europe. But governments continued to be run by conservatives, liberals, and radicals. But the government was supposed to be run by these liberals, conservatives, and radicals throughout Europe. That means socialists haven't got the majority seats in any of the nations. They were actually fighting election, they were contesting elections as political parties. Their their views, their ideology got support as well, but they were unable to win any of the elections. And the all the nations where there was overthrow of monarchy and new formation of government was there. So the liberals, radicals, and conservative continue to rule, and socialists haven't got, because unfortunately haven't got any of the majority in any of the nations. So student, today we are going to study till here only. In the next video we are going to talk about the advent of the Russian Revolution and its impact on the society. Till then, keep learning, keep watching.